Yep, looks like it's updated. Alright, so this is process runner DB. Again, we don't have like a deck specifically for DB, so I just use the regular standard process runner deck. But typically what happens is people see the webinar and then you mention the integration with the database and they want to see that. And so they've already seen it, so it's more of like a technical, just kind of showing them the tool.
Right.
And so, the first thing is that the tool is very similar in functionality. I mean, it's the four different technologies, just like transaction. The difference is instead of mapping to an Excel file, you map to a database table. Okay, so now you have to prepare kind of your tables. And so here on your computer, on this computer, there's SQL Server Management Studio. And so that's where you're going to have your database tables. So this is kind of, you just got to play around with this as well. Let's see. So I check my data source for see what we're connected to. And so the database is this PRDB data ABB. That's what I'm connected to right now.
Where did you check the data source from?
It's up here.
Okay.
So it's this is the database that I'm currently connected to. Doesn't mean you can't change it. I think we had some specific demos for companies, so they created a different database for those companies, like Boston Scientific and stuff. So you can see what tables they have here. And so you can see these tables like this, change data, right? So if I right click on here and say select top 1000, this is what it has. So it should look familiar, right? It's got a list of material numbers. This, what do you imagine this is?
I like your gross weight, your net weight
Yep,
type stuff.
exactly. So this is the same example. The only thing that I typically do here is remove this logs, so it kind of looks blank here. In programmability, there should be, or it might be in saved queries. Hold on, let's see. Yeah, see, here's this clear all log status. So if I open up that query, this is going to change. See, this is the database. This is the table. And so it's just going to clear the I status and the I log of that table. So it's the I status and that's the I log. So you just open up this query, hit execute. And then if I go back here and just do a refresh, it's gone. So you should start like this. This is how you should start. And you can say, okay, I have, it's again a simple example. You're going to do a recording, gross weight, net weight. Your data, instead of being in an Excel file, is in a database table. So let's see how that looks. So we have our connection here. I'm going to go to new process, MM02, system, log into my system. Alright, so we go to material 100, 100. Just want to change the gross weight. It doesn't matter, just make a change that captures the field. We save it. So that's the recording. Right? And same options, save it locally, share, whatever. There. And then here it's going to look a little bit different, right? So what happens is there's an internal XML table, an I table, kind of like your iBook. Or you want to use a database. So we want to use an actual database. So I'm going to pick the database that we're using, and that's going to come from whatever database sources you have. And in this case, it's the PRDB, right? Pick that one, and then we're going to pick that specific table, so you can refresh, and it should bring you back all the tables. The table that we were using was this MM02. And then here, you should have a status column, and then a log column as well. Okay? And you have your start and end scripts, so if you want to do pre and post processing, you have all that here. You can do pre-stored procedures or post-run stored procedures as well. It's very similar, right? So you don't have to do that. You just kind of look, because I think the pre and post was in advanced in Process Runner, right? So here it's on the Home tab. So now we have the mapper, right? So now as we selected this database and this table, the mapper is going to give us the fields of that table. And so it's going to actually connect and open it up. So this is the actual table. And then here, the map value, this is going to be the list of fields in that table. See? So it opens up the table, it gives you the fields for that table. So obviously you got to kind of know, and the Process Runner actually knows, it kind of finds it, gross weight, net weight. Did you see that? How it already mapped it? So here again, mapping type. So you can send data from the data source or the database to SAP, from SAP back to the database. And then you can fix single values or you can fix system values. Now, if for some reason you wanted to do this, like I want to clone this and actually return back the gross weight, right? Only thing is that now you have to add that column in your table, right? So you don't have a specific column for that. And so now you have to go into SQL Server and do that manually. Okay? Does that make sense? Alright, so data source to SAP, we're feeding it here, and we can go ahead and say, let's just run it. I don't know how many records there are, but 100. And now when I run it, it's running it now to the database. There it is, looks like 44 calls. And if I go to my database now, here, and I just do a refresh here, there it is. See, all these materials changed. You can put some errors here too, and then the error message will be written back here. Like if I were to run this again, what do you think would happen?
No changes made message.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so that's that. And then same thing, FB50 now. I'll just show you the data here. This is how the data is laid out. So this is kind of our header records, and these are all our line items for this specific one. See kind of how that looks? And so in Process Runner, I already have that file. So this is going to be from Innoware Process Files DB now, instead of Process Files. And this is the FB50. So FB50 is already mapped up. This is the actual table here. So if I run it, it's going to create these things. So we go here. Not sure if this is the same one. Let's see here. Oh, see, this is using a different database. You see that? SQL Con1. So let's see if that's SQL. I'm not sure what that's running. This is the table name. Let's see if we can change the database. See, there's this file here. So let's change this to DB. Let's put this here. And our mapping should all be right here. Not sure where it's writing the messages now. Status and log details, probably because it's not status, a status column, and then log column is log detail. So it's PRDB. That's the thing, you gotta make sure you're targeting the right database. And this is the only one that I can see that has this. And you can do a debug here. Let's do a debug and see what's going on. Yeah, this file's not working. So you gotta figure out why this file's not working. FB50. Might not be mapped correctly. Okay, so that would be another one, the multi-line. And then another example would be also your BAPI get detail. Same thing. It's already set up for you. So this one's just basically open it up, and in your database it should have, these are the different tables for exports, imports, uploads. So let's see this one. This is the list of customer numbers here. So, and then your downloads should be your results. These are your results. So it's each of the, in the BAPI, each of the tables has its own table. If I open this up here, see your table. You go into your mapper, you have upload to SAP, download, and then your tables here. So here it's kind of just opening the file, showing this, and then running it. But you probably want to play around with kind of how the database is set up and stuff like that. Going over here, setting up the database, making sure that all works. Making sure you know what database you're pointing to. And then the easy one is the data extractor. So the data extractor here, you put in the name of the table. And then here, what you can do is you can use the particular database, say this database, and you can create a new table. So it'll actually create the table in the SQL Server. Right? So you don't have to have the table, even though I have this Mara table. I can say create table, let's say Mara test, like that. And it says create active fields only, so only the ones that I have checked. And create login status field, and automatically manage it. I'm not quite sure what this is. then max record for extraction, 1,000. I go to my mapper, you can see all the fields in this, and then if I run it, it should create this database.
This Robert Neranju is the guy you talked to? Remember you talked to the real estate sales guy? He said you had a
Yeah.
conversation.
So now if I refresh this, it should be a,
Is the same? Does it ring a bell? No?
No.
You have some notes, the ones that you talked to, or a piece of paper?
see this
The real
Martest?
estate guy.
That's
The
the,
software guy, right? The real estate
Yeah, but
software.
is it Robert Neranju or is that different?
No, this is different. That guy was Tom something, the guy. And he's the one
so
who
this is
came
the
back
extraction.
and he said,
Right, that's what I'm. But
yeah, it's not Robert.
It's not Robert.
No, no.
What happened to Robert?
I'll have a look and see. I don't remember the name.
So it's optimized for the database. There's some optimization, but RJ actually would do well explaining more of this. I mean, I think you can play around with it, and the concept is okay. Most of the times when you do a demo for this, you can show about this much, and they understand it, and they get it. Because
Right.
typically the database people are more technical. So they're probably going to start asking about a specific scenario. And then typically what we do is say, okay, we can give you an evaluation license, and you can play around with it, and then we can help you set up a time with our support engineer and help guide you through it. And then with that, that's pretty much, I mean, this one's, I feel like it's specialized, so it's easier to sell, because people will say, okay, this is what I need, not just
Right.